Springfield. Welcome to After Hours, and we're here with Ruell Chappell. And you have been in Springfield for so many years. Oh my God, so many years. So right now, though, what are you doing? What's some projects that you're into?
Well, the two things that locally that I want to talk about, of course, I'm lucky enough to play with the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, and I am doing Play It Forward Southwest Missouri. I'm the director of that. We are tasked with collecting instruments and cash to give instruments to children that can't afford them. And so that is a huge deal in my life. And then I have a writer's night on Wednesday nights at Friends Karaoke Pub I want to talk about, but those are probably the three things in music history in general here in Springfield.
So what bands have you been in through the years?
Well, I've been in and out of the Daredevils my entire life, and in now. And then I had my own bands coming up. I played with a lot of people, but primarily back in the day when there was a lot of recording going on in Springfield, played the studios. So
That's pretty awesome.
thank you.
So tell us about like the writer's night, because clearly like you talked about getting instruments for children, but
Okay.
how did writer's night start? What does it entail?
Well, the whole idea was when I was a little kid, Springfield was a music capital, which is one reason I'm really glad you guys are doing what you're doing, because it is in the 80s, disco came along and it killed live entertainment in Springfield. And it has kind of been creeping back over the last several decades. I'm 65, and it's been since the 80s that happened. And I left Springfield, went to Pensacola, Florida, because there was no work here. And but there's a brand new crop of younger people like yourselves and younger musicians in the area. Last night, the other day, your list of stuff was like 40, 50 different live entertainment places. My Lord, I didn't even know. So I've been talking
You should see how many takes we did like earlier. Like,
oh my Lord.
Trust me, we know. We feel that.
We don't even mention all of it. There's so
I know.
much that goes on. It's amazing.
Well, and I'm really, really glad to see that, because that's the way Springfield used to be. At one point, between Glenstone, where St. Louis comes, you go downtown on St. Louis from Glenstone, between Glenstone and the square, there were like 15 places to play on that one street. I mean, it was just huge. So I'm glad to see it coming back, and I appreciate all you guys are doing to make it happen.
So how many times have you played here at Lindbergh's?
Oh, my Lord. Over the years, forever. I mean, I wouldn't even want to guess. 100 times, maybe.
Okay, so you've been in the music and entertainment world for a while, and I love asking this question because it's either embarrassing or funny or both. What is the strangest thing that's ever happened to you during a gig, or the strangest thing that a patron has said or done to you?
Oh, my God. I haven't even thought about this. Next question. I don't know. I mean, there's so many strange things. I mean, if you're a musician, you're going to see it every night. And I've been very lucky. Nothing bad has ever happened. I got a gun drawn on me one time.
Well, that counts.
That counts. Yeah. There used to be, long before any of you were alive, there was Otasco Tire and Supply downtown. Above it was a place called the Alibi, or I think it was the original Alibi. Raymond Rutledge owned it. I was sitting there one night playing, and a lady tried to kill her husband. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, and was pointing the gun from the bar, just like this. The lady got up and pointed the gun at the stage, and my brother was playing drums, and I was playing, and we like to climbed all over each other trying to get off that stage. We didn't care about the guy on the dance floor. We just wanted to be out of the way of the bullet. So. But I guess that was probably one of the strangest things that.
Oh my God. I want to know what our husband did.
She was dancing with another girl. That's all it took. So.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that would classify as something crazy or strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. And I gotta say, that doesn't happen much anymore. I mean, in the old days,
He has to say that.
The
We're in
barroom
Springfield.
brawl. Everyone, I started playing when my mother used to drive my band around because I wasn't old enough to drive. I owned a car and equipment and a trailer, but I wasn't old enough to drive. And so my mom drove for a while until I was up pretty close to driver's age, and then I hired a guitar player old enough to drive my car. And then, yeah.
How responsible of you.
How responsible?
How responsible?
I got to be pretty responsible. I've all I got.
And this is how you've lasted all these years.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. Very lucky.
So back to Writers' Night. How many people do you usually have in and out of there? I mean, new faces and everything.
There are a million writers in this area in Branson, and the cool thing about it was when I was a little kid, Wayne Carson was here. Ronnie Self was here. He wrote "I'm Sorry, So Sorry" for Brenda Lee, who lived here. Chet Atkins was here. All the people that went to Nashville were here. They all lived out right behind the tower in front of the older Southern Hills. But so Springfield was a huge music town, and back then we had these writing things where people would go and Wayne would do a new song, and some of these real hot writers would do songs, and then guys like me would get up and do a song, and they'd say, I like this, don't like this, and it was just a writing community, and it was really fun. And so, I missed it after all these years, and I wanted to write. So, and I was never a writer. I played for them, but I never wrote, and so I wanted to do that before I died. And so I started this thing to force myself to write. And so it's every Wednesday, and that puts the pressure on me to do something, so it's really cool.
Well, speaking of writing, can we hear one of your songs that you wrote?
Certainly. I'm going to do one, and this is cool because years ago, I did this album along with a partner, Lori Locke, not the one you're thinking of, but there's another one. And we did this album about the Young Brothers Massacre that happened here in 1932. I don't know if you know of it. Few people do. But until 9/11, the largest law enforcement massacre in Springfield history, in the history of the country, happened here at Brookline, just outside of town. 6 out of 7 police officers were killed by 2 brothers that lived at the Young Brother farm out there, and they ended up running to Houston, Texas, and this is Depression, and they were surrounded by the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers told them to come out, and they said no, and they stood in the bathtub and shot each other. Oh my God. Oh. This whole thing from start to finish took 3 days, and I've got newspapers from New York, California, everywhere. It was national news. So anyway, I'm going to do a song called "I'm a Bad, Bad Man" about the Young Brothers. Okay?
Sounds good.
Should I just get up and go over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let me get the... Okay. You can cut. You will edit this, right? Okay. Okay, this is called "I'm a Bad, Bad Man." It's from the point of view of the Young Brothers. In particular, Harry Young. His brother was Jennings Young. Long story. Maybe sometime I'll get to tell it if we. But I don't want to take up your time. But anyway, this is the song I wrote for them. Oh, I might tell you too. The reason I did this album was because this was a huge thing to my dad, and he was born in 1917, and this happened when he was 17 years old, and he knew everybody, all the policemen, the Young Brothers, because back in 1932, everyone in Springfield knew everybody. So it was a black eye for the community. jail was born. Train robbing, car stealing, low down thief. You hear it enough, you begin to believe. Make up a size with my cold-blooded mean, and I'm the best shot you've ever seen. They're coming for me now, I got a situation. I'm gonna live up to my reputation. Shells in the chamber as the door now begins to turn. Fame is a squeeze away. Now they're gonna learn I'm a bad, bad man. I'm a bad, bad man. All I got to lose is my shot at fame. I'm a bad, bad man. You remember my name. You remember my name. I'm vile and vicious and big as you please. Ain't going to jail, they ain't taking me. I see cars coming down the drive. Ain't none of them gonna leave alive. Brother Jennings is my upstairs man. A dead-eye shot, he knows the plan. The cops are about to get a revelation. I'm gonna live up to my reputation. I'm cocked and loaded, I'm primed for eternity. Don't get in my way, I'll take you with me. I'm a bad, bad man. I'm a bad, bad man. All I got to lose is my shot at fame. I'm a bad, bad man. You remember my name. I'm a bad, bad man. You remember my name. Thank you. I'm sorry I stopped. I forgot the words.
Okay. Come join us again, and we'll talk about what we have been up to past week, which we were very, very busy.
Well, I know you guys are. I know you are. If I could... Two? I'm going in and out here. Is that right? Okay, I'm good. One thing I did want to say is, and I know that you were kind enough to offer me to talk about it, is for Play It Forward. We have a website at www.playitforwardswmo.org. And we also have a Facebook presence. And this year we're concentrating on cash donations because it just makes it easier for us to get stuff fixed and that kind of thing. Last year, folks, I mean, we need some help because last year alone we did, right before Christmas, we did $30,000 worth of instrument donations to kids in Springfield. So we're hoping to, top that. So we're hoping to get over 30 this year. I bet you we're going to be somewhere in the vicinity of $30,000 to $50,000. So it's going to be cool.
That is definitely amazing. Where would people go to drop off instruments if they do have instruments?
Thank you very much. Yeah, you can drop off instruments at Car-Fi and Springfield Music. And I always, every time I play, I say, if you got an instrument, bring it out, So anywhere I'm playing. And then, of course, cash donations at the website and on Facebook.
Awesome. Cool. So, let's see. Yeah, last week, you were not here, but it was so much fun. We did a SmackDown it was a karaoke SmackDown against Branson After Hours. So us against France.
They
and
still
Afro.
cheated.
They totally cheated.
I'm calling cheating.
Yeah, I'm calling
Sorry.
cheating too. But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of local musicians for us, and then down there for them.
You mean they were doing karaoke?
Yes, they were.
Musicians were doing karaoke?
Yeah, it was really great. We had Chris from Pearl Nation in here, and John Jewett, and Aaron from Wicked Shimmy. Those were our celebrities for the Springfield area. And then we also had a friend that just sung amazingly. His name's Trey, but he sang this song called I Love This Bar, which is awesome because, we love Lindbergh's.
Lindbergh's has been a staple in this community forever.
Yeah.
I think what made that really funny was he kind of had like young Toby Keith, like kind of facial hair, had a cowboy hat on, and he's just like standing in front of like the American flag.
Right by the American
and like
flag.
we're all talking smack to each other, and you just hear, I love this. I'm like, okay, there you go.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was also her birthday. It was
Cool. Well,
Patricia's birthday.
I'll have to come out to one. I only tried singing karaoke once, and the problem is I don't see well enough to do it. That's the problem, and you're kind of screwed if you can't.
That's when you just make up your own.
Just start rapping.
Make
It's
up
fine.
your own
We don't
words.
care.
So last week we had Harold and James here as our guests, and they were playing at Shuffles, so we went and saw them on Friday. And then right after them was Chris Palmer's birthday / Pearl Nation event, and that was a lot of fun. Trying to look at my notes because we went to so many things. I have to keep them straight. And then you went here, Lena, huh?
I did. We came here. The second edition of Extra came out yesterday. It does cover Brutally Frank, which was the show along with the Living Deads and Strange Fellows that was here on Friday night. All three of them are Midwest psychobilly bands, and if you can see my shirt, I'm representing Brutally Frank today. So, yeah, it was a
Why
good time.
don't you tell Ruel what Extra is all about?
So Extra is a journalism column written by me, and it goes more in depth about what we have going on in Springfield, and it features someone specific like every week. And we try to cover like CD releases, special events, moves, things like that, big charity events, and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of help people get to know more in depth and maybe learn something they didn't know before.
Well, I have to thank you all because you and 2 or 3 other concerns in the metro area are broadcasting and telling people where live music is, and that is a great service because no one really does it well until you got. I mean, we had the Weekender. You know what I'm talking about in the newspaper, that Weekender thing. But I mean, that's one. No one reads the newspaper. Well. My age do, but I mean, no, you guys don't. And the thing is that people need to know where live entertainment is. I'm really thrilled that there's so much music in the area now. All we got to do is inform people so they can go take it in.
Well, thank you. We work very hard. It's not just a bunch of partying. It's a lot of work. Yeah. Well, on Saturday we were back here at Lindbergh's for Transylvania's second EP, and that was a lot of fun. I know you stuck around for the whole thing.
I did.
Because I was trying to head over to Pat and Alley myself. Who else was here on Saturday night?
Elevate opened for Elevate is a KC thrash metal band, and so they opened for Transylvania.
How cool!
Yeah, so I bought shirts for both.
You guys have so many categories now.
Yeah.
I'm the metalhead.
I mean,
so.
back when I was young, it was like country and rock and roll. I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later in life, it was reggae. So we had country, rock and roll, and reggae. and that was.
And now we have EDM.
And now we have everything.
A whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I went over to Pat and Alley, and one of our street team, they were there seeing, what was his name? Loaded Dice. So Nathan Bryce and the Loaded Dice. So we got to catch them for a little bit. And God, that was the end of our weekend, really, all that we did. But this coming weekend is really exciting. A lot of Springfield bands are going to be at Bash in the Grass, so we're going to go catch that. That's from Thursday to Sunday
I knew I had
at
something
Jack
Thursday.
Mountain,
Forgot.
out towards Salem, and it's a beautiful area.
I was just talking to Joe Dillstrom and Justin Larkin, and they're both playing there.
Yep.
So
we hope
just
to
had a cup of
catch
coffee
them.
for it.
Yeah, we definitely hope to catch them. And then tomorrow night we'll be at your event for the.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there to go live and see all the writers for Writers Night.
We actually do on occasion have young people there, and because it's just not, and that's what I was talking to Joe Joe and Justin about is, we need things like this. What you're doing, social events for musicians. We used to have those all the time, at least once a month. We used to do that once a month. Just pick a place, and all the musicians in town went, young, old, everybody. And it was the greatest thing in the world. And so I'm kind of wanting to talk to you all about that. There we go. And I'm kind of wanting to talk to you about that and seeing if, you'd be interested in helping that out.
Well, that's why I really enjoyed our karaoke thing last week, because it brought so many different musicians together, and you don't always see multiple musicians. I mean, you can see, at a venue, maybe if there's like a special event, whatever, but this was together. It was like a big mashup type, and it was so fun. So yeah, it's great what you're doing.
I want you guys, your input, because I was talking to Joe, and the thing is, I'm going to be 66 here very soon. I'm on my way to 70. We can't rely on guys my age. We got to rely on musicians that are younger and happening. And they are excited about it. And if I can get your help to drive people there, no pressure, just a nice place. We'll pick a venue. It'll move around so everyone gets a shot. And we can have all the musicians show up. No, if you want to bring a guitar and play, cool. If you don't, that's cool. It's just for social. It's just socializing, networking, talking to, we're going to invite club owners and musicians so we can all get together, and those that we don't know can meet, And I just think it's a good idea. We used to do it all the time, and it was a great resource. Venue owners would say, they'd meet a bunch of musicians, and if someone fell through or got sick, they knew, it was easy to find somebody else. But now there's a lot of distance between different musicians, and I think that we can maybe solve that. Maybe.
Shuffle does something similar on Sundays.
Uh-huh.
Do an open mic night. A lot of blues musicians go out there.
Right. Yeah. The thing is, we just want to start not trying to make it a pressure thing, because it's like me. If I get asked to a party, the very first question out of my mouth is there a piano there? If there's a piano there, I am not going. I don't want to go to a party and play. I want to go to a party and act like a normal human. So, I think that this ought to start out as just a thing. It's not based around playing. Doesn't cost the venue anything. Where the idea is to make them have a good night, and network musicians and venues.
That sounds amazing. I hope to bring this gentleman that I just met the other day. I can't say his name right now because he's kind of a secret weapon. I'm really excited for him. He just moved into town. He just got out of the Marines, and he's never, ever sung in front of people before. And he played me a couple songs, and my mouth dropped. I could not believe. And it was his own music, so I really hope he comes.
I'd love to
But let's see what time it is. Well, we usually go over just 3 questions really fast. Just conversation starters for the bar.
I love these.
Yeah, they're so much fun. Okay.
I'm good. I have a loud mouth. I'm good. I'll throw myself under the bus.
Okay, so first question. What did you do for Labor Day weekend?
Did I do?
Yeah, what did you guys do for Labor Day weekend? Anybody? You could pick up the mic and give your 2 cents.
Well, I spent 10 hours on Sunday writing the Brutally Frank article.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
then I cleaned my house on Monday, and then I went to a meeting, and that was my Labor Day.
Exciting.
I'm super, super crazy, guys.
I spent it in the studio. That's all I did. I just
That
stayed at
sounds
home.
fun. You can't remember it was that much fun?
I worked.
You labored. You labored on Labor Day weekend.
I labored on Labor Day.
Okay, so second question. What personal passion project are you working on right now? Amy, you go.
What? Personal passion.
Talk, woman.
Oh, I don't know that I have any projects going on. Grad school, does that count?
Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah.
personal passion?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm doing that then. I do
Yeah.
like to learn stuff.
You like to learn
Lots
stuff.
of stuff. All this stuff. Like the history that he told us. I got to learn a lot tonight.
Yeah. Well, hang around old people. They know all that stuff. They've been here a while, a couple minutes.
So last question. What is one thing you believed to be true when you were younger, but you found out while you're adult that it was completely a lie?
Yeah. That being an adult was awesome.
It is
Like
awesome.
no
What
one
are you
tells
talking
you
about?
about the bills.
We can buy
Like
liquor. That's
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to pay these things called bills. Ugh. That's inconvenient.
I was gonna go more morbid, so you might want to pass me. Yeah. I'm gonna say that mommy loved me.
Oh God. God.
You don't even want to answer.
I got nothing.
What about you, Ruel? Do you have anything?
Play it forward is my thing, and that's my thing. I love giving. And the reason is this. It's just as simple as this. Neuroscience is. I'm a science guy, by the way. I was actually a math major. I was going to be a teacher until 1976. I was going to teach high school or college in 1976, and I graduated from the MSU. And they took my money for 4 years to get my degree. And then when I went to do my student teaching, they told me, not with that hair you won't.
It was a total
My hair was
lie.
about as long as hers.
It was a total
and
lie.
they said, nope, cut your hair, you ain't teaching here. So I went home, and I said, well, the hell with this then. I'm not going to do that. And of course, I was 20 or 21. And so I went home, and that evening, Buddy Brayfield from the original Daredevils called me and said, I'm going to leave to become a doctor. You need to join this band. And I did that evening and left on tour with them next week. So I went to from being a teacher to being a piano player for the Daredevils in one day.
I'm glad you didn't betray your long hair.
I
love
didn't.
long hair. So
Yeah.
I just can't support it anymore. That's the problem.
Well, I love all your wonderful stories.
Thank you.
And we have a special treat after the show, so you guys need to get down here. Ruel is going to be playing a short set for us. So.
Yeah, please.
But it was really, really great having you on.
Thank you.
So we hope to have you back sometime, and we are
Anytime.
looking forward to tomorrow because that's going to be a fun experience. And
Well,
where is it again, and what time?
It is at Friends Karaoke Pub. It's out behind. It's on West Campbell, just west of Campbell. I mean, it's on Battlefield, west of Campbell, and it is right behind Carl's Tuxedos. It's in a little shopping center. 7 o'clock, Friends Karaoke Pub.
Okay, all you writers, songwriters, come out. So thank you again,
Thank you.
and we're
I
gonna
love it. Thank you for being
we're gonna
so kind.
sign off, Springfield. Till next time. Bye.